Hello YouTube, it's Zach. There's something I'd like to show you.
This is a cartoon depiction of the Mormon prophet Joseph Smith in the TV show South Park. Nobody's life was threatened because of this. This is Krishna also being mockingly depicted in South Park. Nobody's life was put in danger because of this either. This is Jesus being depicted in the magazine Charlie Hebdo, and this is Jesus being depicted trying to have sex with Peter's wife in Family Guy. Nobody's life was threatened because of those either. But when South Park wanted to show Muhammad in an episode, Comedy Central censored that for safety concerns. When Charlie Hebdo actually showed Muhammad in one of their magazines, 25 people were shot in Paris. 12 of them died. When depictions of Muhammad like this one were depicted in a Danish newspaper, there were riots all around the world.
Why is that? Most versions of Islam forbid the depiction of Muhammad or talking in any way that's less than praise about him. And so by criticizing or depicting him, I'm showing my disregard for what they think that God wants from us. I, of course, as an atheist, don't pay any respect to what they believe when going about my day-to-day life. I just disregard them as simple fairy tales, and that's just the nature of disagreement. It's okay. Without open disagreement, we wouldn't have any dialogue, and without any dialogue, our societies wouldn't progress. And so if everyone had the right to demand that what they believe be respected and revered, then it would be impossible to have a progressing society. Now, I'm not saying that respect isn't an important part of having a fruitful discussion, as insulting and attacking your interlocutor doesn't serve any purpose within the discussion. Because it's not them that you should be attacking, but their ideas. And if we want to have a fruitful discussion, then we need to be uninhibited about exactly what's wrong about the ideas that they hold. There's quite simply no way to challenge an idea while holding it to a pedestal. There isn't a way, for example, to point out that Muhammad was a sexual predator while respecting his dignity as a human being and, for that matter, the religion that he founded. Laws designed to protect people's sensibilities are always a bad idea. The line between insult and criticism can only be drawn on subjective lines. What this means in practice is that those in power will always have the discretion to execute those laws however they see fit. And so even saying something as seemingly innocuous as, I don't think Muhammad was a prophet, can be considered an insult against the religion and can put you away in prison for many, many years, if not get you the death penalty. In fact, it has numerous times, and people have suffered a lot for it. In 2012, a Saudi Arabian poet by the name of Hamza Kashgari was put in prison for 2 years and forced to convert back to Islam for expressing in Twitter that if he were to meet Muhammad, he would simply treat him as an equal. Now, how anyone would see that as an expression of disrespect is completely beyond me, but again, it's completely subjective. This was less about someone feeling insulted or hurt, and more about people not tolerating disagreement. What's more is that whatever a person says about an idea or a mythical figure, it's just speech, and there's no inherent harm in it. It certainly doesn't make them a danger to society, and punishing someone who's not a danger to society is morally inexcusable, especially considering the real-world consequences of this. Think of an old Pakistani woman, Asiya Bibi, who spent 10 years in prison simply because people said that she insulted the Prophet. Or Raif Badawi being separated from his family and children and having to spend 7 years in prison and who knows how long more, tortured physically, psychologically, publicly, and privately for what? For expressing his views. Hurt feelings aren't a good justification for this.
Sure, there's a discussion to be had about hate speech, incitement of violence, and what their legal status should be, but that's far from the issue at hand. Abstractly talking about ideas, historical and mythical figures, critiquing and ridiculing them, as much as some people might want to call it hate speech, it just isn't. Hate speech is speech that directs hate towards a group of people and puts them in danger. And protecting them is what hate speech laws are designed to do. If something hurts a group of people's feelings, that does not automatically make it hate speech. And so no matter how much something might hurt your feelings, that doesn't make it hate speech.
So is that what it all comes down to? Protecting feelings. If we're gonna base laws on feelings, then why don't we protect everyone's feelings? I'm sure it hurts a lot more to be told that your existence as a gay person is a sin than it does to have your beloved prophet insulted. Or is the LGBT community just not violent enough to have their feelings protected? I've often heard it said that it's normal, expected, and unavoidable that when you hurt Muslims' feelings, they're gonna react. Like they can't help themselves. So the question here is, why are Muslims so special? Why don't the Mormons go out and crucify cats and shoot journalists just because someone made a cartoon musical about their prophet? Why is it that when someone made a cartoon musical about their prophet, nobody died? Now I'm sure their feelings got hurt, but what did they do? They talked about it like civilized human beings. Why don't adherents of any religion react to criticism or ridicule the way Islamists do? What they do is not normal. It's not a natural human response. It's a cultivated and completely artificial reaction that Islamists have developed. Many Islamist families, such as my own, and Islamic culture in general, teaches children that they should be offended at certain things. Like, it's not enough that they're offended, everyone else has to be offended too, and if you're not offended enough, you're not a good enough Muslim. And if you're not offended enough to at least support those who go out and hurt other people because of it, then you're not a good enough Muslim. Bit by bit, especially for developing minds, genuine offense is taken at simple disagreement. People are trained to feel violated when they're not, and with the help of violent scriptures, the desire for violence and destruction arises. This thinly veiled Islamist narrative that feelings need protection has even made its way to European law. In October of 2018, ES versus Austria, the European Court of Human Rights ruled that under certain circumstances, EU countries do have the right to limit free speech in the name of protecting religious feelings. I am not kidding. The phrase, people's rights to have their religious feelings protected, was in the statement. I tried not to be too alarmist about this. For one, the court did make it clear that had it been under different circumstances, such as a formal debate, the results might have been different. What ES did was call Muhammad a pedophile. Again, not to be too alarmist about this, but this is quite literally Sharia law in Europe. Now, I don't think Europe is going to be taken over by Sharia law, but I do think that this is part of a dangerous trend. A trend of Islamists feeling more and more entitled, and the rest of the population feeling more and more afraid and moving farther right. This also puts us in a much less powerful position to condemn what Islamic governments are doing to stifle free speech. We need to hit the brakes on this trend, and we need to make it clear to the Islamists as a united front for humanity that no, their feelings don't need to be protected. And we're not buying their bullshit narrative anymore. Individuals, communities, and even whole countries with their governments are being raised to act entitled and supreme, as if this world were God's gift to them and only them. What this is about, what this is really about, has nothing to do with feelings. This is about entitled people with pernicious ideologies doing everything in their power to terrorize everyone who dares to disagree with them into silence. You don't just give a child what they want for being loud and destructive enough. Sometimes no means no, and the Islamists need to understand that. We need to make them understand, and under no circumstances give in to their demands. No matter where we are, whether we're in the free world where we make our own laws, or in the Islamic world where they have more power to terrorize us, we'll always find a way to speak out, and hopefully one day we're going to be able to get rid of this ugly face of Islam for good.
Thank you for watching. I hope you found my video to be informative and useful. If you did, then please subscribe, share my video to get it to a wider audience if it is safe for you to do so. And until next time.